You know what's better than a regular park? A national park! Let's go! What's going on, guys? Jesse Weiser here, and I'm a real estate broker here in Springfield, Missouri. And we're talking about the national parks in my home state, Missouri. And of course, make these videos because we have wiserlivingrealty.com. And if you're looking to move to Missouri, obviously check it out. Check out the houses there. We make these videos strictly for you if you're wanting to move to Missouri, or if you are a history teacher and just want to, throw this up in front of all your students, that's okay too. Just kidding. It's only for people buying real estate. So anyways, reach out. That's why I make these videos. Email, text, call. Text is better, just letting you know. On to the video. So let's begin with literally the national park that everybody knows in Missouri, and that's the Gateway Arch. Of course, you can't drive through St. Louis without seeing the arch. I've actually been to the arch once when I was younger, and I remember going up and literally everyone looked like tiny little ants, like walking around. Now the grounds are open for people to walk at any time. They even have the old courthouse there as well that you can enjoy. However, you can take a tram ride to the top of the arch. Adult tickets start around $15. The views up at the top of the arch are amazing, and I hope you don't mind a little swaying. The sway literally can sway up to 18 inches, okay? 18. That's... So if you are afraid of heights and afraid of moving at high heights, the arch might not be for you. But I've been up there, and yeah, it does sway, but you don't even feel it. Like, I feel like I don't even remember the swaying part. I just remember like sticking my head against the glass and looking down at the ants. Now the visitor center is actually in between the legs of the arch. It's usually open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. This place contains the Arch Museum, an educational film, a virtual reality theater, and a store and a cafe. The museum covers 200 years of history about the westward expansion of the United States, with an emphasis on St. Louis's important role during that era. The film shows the architects, builders, and supporters who made the dream of the Gateway Arch into a reality. Now there's literally so much to do at this park, and they even have like a little riverboat called like the Gateway Arch or something that you can ride down the river. Next up is the George Washington Carver National Monument. What a long name. This park was the first national monument to acknowledge an African American, and it's in Diamond, Missouri. George Washington Carver was known for peanut butter, but he didn't just do that. He was a scientist and a plant doctor. This is the area where he was born and grew up and spent so much time here, and had his own secret garden. They have a 1-mile self-guided loop called the Carver Trail. The 1881 Moses Carver House, the graves of some of his family members. They also host special events here that showcase art, tell stories, and events where they have basket making, candle making, weaving, quilting, music, and more. They do have a museum with many documents and exhibits, a bookstore, and a film about George Washington Carver's life where he dealt with poverty, segregation, prejudice, and was about to become successful. It's an inspiring story to see. Next up is Harry S. Truman National Historic Site. Now this White House is a beautiful Victorian style house. And I guess you can only tour the first floor. You're not allowed to go upstairs, but they do have pictures of upstairs. Now, Harry S. Truman was a famous Missourian and a former president. This is in Independence, Missouri, which is very close to Kansas City, where the longtime home of Truman is there. Harry Truman called it the center of the world. In 1953, after serving as the 33rd president, he returned to Independence and became Mr. Citizen, and this home was eventually turned into a museum to tour and a park area. The home has thousands of artifacts on display at the home, which is so beautiful. There is a visitor center located nearby to visit and purchase tickets. You will see records, suits, shirts, his car, and some history on his beloved wife, Bess. Truman's involvement in politics was in the part of American history where we got involved at the end of World War II. It's a very interesting part of history, and it's in Missouri. Next up is the Ozark National Scenic Riverways, and it's the first national park to protect a river system. Now this is cool. Now there are two rivers in particular, Current River, and Jack's Fork River. They are amazing floating rivers because they are spring-fed, cold, and clear, which stay open all year. The rivers stay around 57 degrees throughout summer, meaning the water can keep you cool on even the most scorching days. The park is home to hundreds of freshwater springs, caves, and trails. You can canoe, swim, boat, or fish, and they have campgrounds to enjoy the nature there as well. There are a number of places to visit. One historic site is called Alley Mill. You may have seen it on a postcard. It's a very picturesque scene of a red mill along these beautiful river, and then there's the green trees. Oh, it is a postcard. It literally is a postcard, screensaver, background on a phone, anything you want to put. If you're into red buildings right next to a river. It has its own history that you can learn about inside the mill. It was important to the community life where grain was ground to provide bread. The present day building was built in 1894 where it utilized a water turbine rather than a water wheel as its power source. Now this place literally does not feel real. What the heck? There's a blue river running through it that's 310 feet deep. Unreal, and it is a hidden gem in Missouri. You have to go check it out. Next up is the St. Genevieve National Historic Park. Now this was established in 1750. St. Genevieve was the first permanent European settlement in Missouri. This place is old, people. Almost 275 years old. That's older than most things, right? Early French Canadian settlers were drawn here by the rich agricultural land known as Le Grand Champ, the Big Field. This was before the Louisiana Purchase, when America got to purchase the land. The park goes over the history of the different communities that settled here and preserved the largest group of buildings from the French colonial architectural style. So if you're interested at all about architecture and history, this is the place for you. They have a visitor center you can visit to get all information about the city. They have a video to show part of its history and give you a map of places to visit. If you like old history and old buildings, you can find a treasure trove right here. You will need to get tickets to go here, but they are free. Now let's talk about Ulysses S. Grant National Historic Site. Now, Ulysses S. Grant, and I may not be saying that right, but that's the best I can do, okay? He is known as the victorious Civil War general who saved the Union and became the 18th president of the United States. He first met Julia Dent, his future wife, at her family home called White Haven near St. Louis. He eventually owned White Haven and got involved with the military. During the Civil War, he volunteered for the Union and won many battles during this time. The house is a distinct Paris green color that makes it such a unique building. Now this is a wild color, green house. Whew! It's almost like the 80s, but it wasn't. It was a long time ago. Now there is a film, tour, and museum you can check out on the property, and you can explore the park grounds freely in the visitor center. Now let's talk about the closest one to my house in Springfield, Missouri, Wilson's Creek National Battlefield. This is in Brookline, or as we know, Republic, Missouri, essentially. This was the first major Civil War battle fought west of the Mississippi River and the site of the death of Nathaniel Lyon, the first Union general killed in action. This took place on August 10, 1861. More than 2,200 lives were killed in about 4 or 5 hours. If you go, they have the park, visitor center, battlefield, and the trails that take you through these spots open for the public. You can take a self-guided tour to bike, hike, walk, or go horseback riding through these areas. They also have the historic Ray House from the 1850s, where it was a temporary hospital for fallen soldiers. The place also has the Wire Road Trail, where a natural trail through the Ozarks formed over time. Now this is another one for full history buffs, or for someone that just wants to walk on the Wire Road Trail. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to check out more things about Missouri, check out this playlist right over here. I'm really glad you guys watched this. It really helps the channel. And if you remember one thing, just one, you watch for deer. Have you ever been?
I've been there, but never up and off.